Welcome to the second semi-final match of the Top 16 tournament. Today I will be playing Enter the Dracomancer and I'm up against Mr. Turtle playing Mind Maze. We keep a fine opening hand that will eventually have all the colors we need, and there's no turn 1 play and no turn 2 play from our opponent, which is very good news. And on turn 2 we play a Dragon Fodder, making two 1/1 Goblin tokens, which will shore up our defenses on the ground. And on turn 3 there's an Illusionary Servant from our opponent, a 3/4 flyer that dies if it gets targeted. And here we play a Borderland Ranger, getting a mountain, as we do have a Cultivate to get the swamp when we need to. No attacks and pass a turn. An attack from the servant puts us down to 17, and a Phantasmal Image makes another servant from our opponent. And here we play out Cultivate, getting a swamp and another mountain, because we need to get as many mountains as we can. No attacks, pass a turn, and 6 damage puts us down to 11. No plays from our opponent, and here we can have a Consume Strength, which targets 2 creatures, so we can get rid of both servants, but there's no need to do it on our turn, so we pass a turn with Consume Strength up, and when our opponent goes to attack, we cast it, targeting the 2 servants, and they get sacrificed. Our opponent tries to rebuild with a Krovikan Mist and a Gossamer Phantasm. Both have flying, and on our turn we decide to attack first. No blocks happen, our opponent goes down to 12, and in our second main phase we play out a Flame Blast Dragon that gets unsummoned end of turn. So our opponent can get in for another attack with his flyers, putting us down to 7. No plays from our opponent that turn. On our turn we have some tough decisions to make, because we have to take counter spells and bounce effects into account. So we decide to play out our Jund Tyrant to try and pressure our opponent. We attack with everyone, but at the last second we decide to keep our flyer back as a blocker, but our opponent flashes in a Snapcaster Mage, giving his unsummon flashback, and unsummons our big flyer, so he can get in for at least 6 points next turn. No illusions pre-combat, so we only take 6, going down to 1, and we're still alive here. And we decide to lead off with our Flame Blast Dragon to bait out a counterspell. We attack with our tokens, putting our opponent down to 6, and a Savage Twister takes out all our opponent's creatures and our tokens as well. And on our turn we play out the Tyrant that will untap our other dragon, giving it haste, and an attack from both dragons is more than enough to lock up a game for Enter the Dracomancer. For sideboarding, we decide to take out our Maelstrom Pulses in favor of some easier to cast removal spells, mainly because Maelstrom Pulse won't be able to kill more than 1 illusion at once. This may have been a mistake in hindsight, because Maelstrom Pulse can still kill a Lord of the Unreal and a Phantasmal Image if it's copying that Lord of the Unreal. Moving on to game 2, where we keep a decent opening hand that will have access to all the colors we need, but this time around our opponent has a turn 1 Phantasmal Bear, which will be a problem. So our opponent attacks us down to 18 life and follows it up with a Gossamer Phantasm. On our turn we don't have a turn 2 play, so we just pass a turn. Another attack puts us down to 14 life, and a Veiled Sentry joins the fun. On our turn we draw Borderland Ranger and play it, activating the Veiled Sentry, making it a 3/3 illusion. We can trade our Borderland Ranger with the bear, but we still take 5 damage, going down to 9. And on our turn we play out Bloodbraid Elf, but we don't cascade in anything useful. So we keep it back as a blocker to block the Veiled Sentry, but a Lord of the Unreal makes the Sentry a 4/4. So we decide to chump block the Sentry anyway, to try and top deck some answer to the situation, but we don't draw anything useful. So we lose the second game here, and we will go to a game 3. So we keep another decent opener with, again, all the colors we need, which is the main concern with this deck. And a turn 1 Phantasmal Bear is gonna make it very difficult for us to win this game. We don't have a turn 2 play, and Lord of the Unreal makes the bear a 3/3, putting us down to 17 right away. Borderland Ranger can fetch a land and hold back the Lord of the Unreal, but on our opponent's turn a Phantasmal Image copying the Lord will make the bear a 4/4, and we will go down to 13 life. On turn 4 we decide to cast a explosive vegetation to try and ramp into something bigger, but a little misclick causes us to only grab 1 land instead of 2. But it will not end up mattering this game. And another attack from the 2 4/4s will put us down to 5 life. And on our turn we have to play out our Ogre Battle Driver and our Dragon Fodder just to make some blockers, because otherwise we're dead. Our opponent will play out another Phantasmal Image copying the Lord. 2 5/5s attack, we chump both of them with our Goblin tokens to try and preserve our life total, but we can't top deck a removal spell here, and this cycling creature is not going to be enough, especially if our opponent will play a Frost Breath end of turn, tapping 2 blockers, and an attack will be enough to close out the game. So Mind Maze wins 2 games to 1 and will advance to the finals, where it will be facing none other than Avacyn's Glory. So tune in next time to see the finals play out, but for now I want to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, have a nice day.